What would be the ideal world for you? A world without suffering, a world without pain, a world where everyone gets what they want, a world where everyone is happy, a world where things are easy. Do you think you could ever regard this world as the ideal world? Or not only would you not be able to do that, but you'll actually think that it's the opposite. It's the opposite of everything that you consider to be ideal. Do you think people are waking up every day because they want to? I was thinking about how slavery existed for many years. I do think that it continued to exist because it got to a point where people got used to slavery and they called it life. And it was taboo to complain. It was taboo to say, I don't want to listen to these people. It got to a point where they're like, this is how things are. Like, what? Why are you complaining? You are weak for complaining. This is how things are. I mean, there's nothing that you be able to do to change things. So everyone just accepted that, yeah, slavery was okay. I think people don't want to do a lot of things that they do, but they feel so powerless that they're like, what can we do? People work jobs that they know they really hate. But they're like, what can we do? Like, I'm not that powerful. People are in relationships where they're not being treated well, but they're like, hey, where am I gonna find someone else? I just gotta work with this. People are doing things that they don't even want to do to cope. If another person is addicted to alcohol, a person is addicted to drugs, do you think people want to do the things that they do? Or if you gave them an option and it was a real option, like you gave them the option to stop experiencing anything, how many people do you think would say, hey, I want to stop experiencing everything? Like, I don't want to be conscious. If that option was really available, what decision do you think a lot of people will make? I remember I debated with a Christian. I think it was yesterday in the morning, and I was telling him that, yo, man, are you not Christian because you are afraid of hell? If God removed hell, and you had a choice, would you still be a Christian? Like you could choose to live your life the way that you want to live your life. It's fine. There's no hell. And he was like, no, I'll still be a Christian. And I was like, the problem with humans in general is that they are so used to their mediocre lives that now that's how it should be. Like, no, we don't believe, like people who believe in Christianity, like they don't really believe in Christianity because they want, like they really love God. Like there's a part of them that's like, what other option do I actually have? I'm convinced that this is true and God is powerful. Because think about it, if you were in a simulation controlled by artificial intelligence and you had no power in that simulation, and there were things that you were asked to do, and if you don't do these things, that means you suffer. Like, it will get to a point where everyone accepts that, okay, this is life. But if they could find a way out, they would actually free themselves. So I continue to, ask this person like questions that would actually trap them, right? I asked them, yo, look, let's say you had a chance to become more powerful than God. Would you choose to become more powerful than God? And he was like, no. And I was like, people are not honest with themselves. Like, people are so afraid that they would rather lie. Like, of course you would want to become more powerful than God. There are a lot of things that you beg God to do for you that He's not doing. There are times when you feel like God is not fair. You might not say it out loud. You might not be open about that. You might not even want to admit it to yourself. There can be things that we don't even want to admit to ourselves. Things that are true about ourselves or about the world that we just don't want to acknowledge. We just, we think acknowledging this truth would change everything. The truth is, a lot of people just feel powerless and they don't know what else to do. It sucks that we know nothing. I know that this realm sucks, but what really sucks for me is not knowing anything. And knowing that I can't know anything in this realm. Like, while I'm still here, there's nothing that I can know. Because I can't even be sure that other people exist. Like, the problem that I have is bigger than what a lot of people, like the problems that a lot of people have with life. I have to live in a state of uncertainty where I'm not even sure if others exist. If they're not a projection of my mind. Then I have to ask myself if God exists, if there is a God that exists outside my consciousness and that's in control. I can't know that. Even if God showed up one day, he's like, yo, I'm God, and I'll be like, oh, prove it. And then he started to perform some tricks. I still can't know that I'm not interacting with my own projection. Think of yourself in a dream where you meet God. So you're dreaming and then you're meeting God in the dream, but it's a dream. It's not real. God, the God that you met does not exist outside of you. How can you know if there are things that actually exist outside of you? How can you know anything at all? So you find yourself in a world where you're experiencing suffering. And suffering really is experiencing what you just don't want to experience. That is suffering. But you can't even know if your experiences are real. You can't know who to trust. You can't know if there ain't some people who actually know what is actually going on, who understand how reality works and who have power. You just assume that everyone is like you. Everyone is as oblivious as you are. I think the only thing that will help make me happy, because I was thinking about this a lot yesterday, what would actually make me happy? It's knowing. I'm not a faith person, and the reason why I'm not a faith person is because I don't think you can know anything through faith. Like if you want something to be true and you believe that it's true, like you desperately believe that it's true, that doesn't make it true. So if you want the truth, it doesn't matter what it is. You must not have, you must not choose a certain belief system and be like, I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to have faith in this. You're not genuinely looking for the truth. You are looking for comfort, or you are afraid. You're afraid of something. I think questioning reality is a sign of sanity. You being able to ask yourself questions about reality, about other people, about what's possible. That's intelligence. To me, intelligence is sanity. Right? It's actually being sane. Like you are actually doing the right thing. That is sanity. The one who is insane is the one who will criticize you for having doubts, not believing what they believe, not thinking the way that they think. Growing up, I've always been curious. I've always wanted to know. And if I felt like I can't know something, like that would actually ruin my day. If I'm curious about something, I have to know it. So that's really my biggest challenge in this room, is that it sucks, but not only, like that's not really the biggest problem. The biggest problem is that you are experiencing nonsense and you don't even know if it's real. Because you won't know what to do, right? If you don't know anything for sure, how do you know what to do? How do you know how to respond to situations? If you were the only conscious being in the universe and you knew that, you'd know how to respond to situations, and you'd actually get used to how you respond to situations, because you wouldn't have doubts anymore. You know, like, oh, other people ain't real. There's nobody to hate. I'm gonna let people do what they do. You know, you hear in the news that someone did something horrible, and you're like, yeah, well, it's not real. So, you know what I mean? But now you're uncertain. You don't know how to feel about things. You don't know how to feel about politicians. You would think, there might be reptilians. You think of Elon, you're like, how is he able to do the things that he's able to do? You know, you're like, I don't know if it's possible to become that powerful. You see, you'll be asking yourself a lot of questions. That's why a lot of people have different theories about what is actually going on. Some believe that the people who run the world are reptilians. And you can't blame them. You can't say you're crazy for thinking that, because we don't know what's going on, and we are seeing some people becoming very, very powerful, and we don't know why it was so easy for them, how they got to be selected to be where they are. There's this interesting TV series that I've watched. It's called People of Earth. It's about this group of people who used to be kidnapped by aliens when they were young. And because of that, like, they grew up like believing in aliens, like, you know, believing that they would actually be abducted, and because aliens would like wipe off their memories. But in the series, there were a lot of reptilians who were controlling everything, and those people didn't even know that. You know, some of them were employed by reptilians who knew that they were studying them. They were getting kidnapped and being studied. You can't know how to respond to situations. But if there were reptilians here and you knew for sure that there were reptilians, you know how to respond to situations. Now we could just speculate. You could watch David Icke's video. You know, it gets to a point where it's just entertainment. I've watched videos where he was talking about reptilians, and I was like, he's charismatic. He knows how to be convincing, but how does he know these things that he say he know? And when you listen to him, you're like, well, it does make sense what he's saying, because if those who run the world could shapeshift, why wouldn't they? When you look at the technological level that this world operates on, you're like, hi, surely there are some things that they're able to do that we can't even imagine anyone doing. Maybe they know how to be invisible. Maybe they know how to control our feelings, our minds. They know how to make us feel the way that they want us to feel about certain things. So you find that events will happen in this world, and they just choose how we must feel about these events, or they make us fight by making us feel differently about these events that be happening. Like, we don't know. Anything is possible at this point. You don't know if you are not in a Westworld type of world where there are beings that come from other realities or other planets who come here to play with us, have fun, and we don't know. We don't know that that's what's happening. Wars. Find that they want us to fight. Like they start wars, and they want us to fight and to suffer, and that's entertainment to them, and they don't really care about us. You don't know if you're not in a Westworld type of world. In a true man kind of world, where a lot of people actually know what's going on, and it's a few people who know nothing. And they're being studied. Their feelings do not matter. Their freedom does not matter. And no one is going to tell them anything. Whenever I get close to a person, I ask them this question because I think it's a very interesting question. I'd be like, if there were a group of people in this world who knew what was going on and you were one of them, and they sent you to come and study me, and you see me suffering, will you tell me that that's what's happening? Since I don't know, and I don't know, and I don't even know how to know. And interesting enough, all of them will say, no, they wouldn't tell me. And I never understood why they would say that. Like, I would never tell you. But like, why? Why wouldn't you tell me? I like the fact that in the Truman Show, there was this lady that, cared about Truman, and she wanted him to know the truth. I think her name was Sophia. Like, she genuinely cared about him. To her, it was not about games. She genuinely cared about him, and she wanted him to know what is actually going on. But you can't know anything. You can't know why some people make it in life and why some people don't. Why some people are homeless, why some people are living in mansions. Why some people are worth billions, while some people's bank accounts have nothing. 0. And it's been like that for a while. Why some people get really sick even though they've not done anything to, like, you find that they were eating healthy, they would work out. Such a sad world that we live in. And the fact that we know nothing makes it even worse. Imagine if one day you woke up and they said, yeah, we're going to reveal to everyone what is actually going on. Like, everyone would want to know. People are tired of fighting. People are tired of being uncertain. People are tired of doing things that they do not like because they don't even know why they're doing these things, because nothing can be known. People die without knowing anything. I think that sucks. So you become an animal here that has its needs and wants, that's not supposed to break the laws, that's not supposed to break the rules. In the end, you don't get to know anything. No one truly tells you what this is. So you die confused. And you don't even know where you go. You don't know what happens after you die. We're still debating as humans whether there's life after death or not. Like, we don't know. If we knew, I think that would change the way people live life, If you knew the truth, like if you knew for sure that death was the end, that would change how you live your life, wouldn't it? Would you still live your life the same way if you knew beyond any reasonable doubt that death was the end? If you knew that death was in the end, would you behave the way that you're behaving? So the problem is that you're uncertain. Sometimes you wake up and you be like, maybe it's the end. And you be like, but it might not be the end. I've heard stories about reincarnation, kids remembering their past lives, blah, blah, blah. It's like things are just happening so that we'll be confused as sentient beings. because there's always evidence to support whatever can be believed, right? There will always be evidence. You look into Christianity, for an example. Yeah, when you think rationally about it, you're like, oh yeah, but all those books were written by humans, and it says so in those books that they were written by humans. It's not like humans just found these books somewhere, or they fell down from heaven. But you do see people getting prayed for and falling and rolling, and that does make you ask yourself a lot of questions. You have seen, not real miracles, but miracles that are kind of confusing, right? Like, okay, it's like 50-50. Like, I could believe that it's a miracle, but I also have enough reasons to not believe that it's a miracle. So you're just confused. It's 50-50. So it's like things are happening so that we will be confused as sentient beings. So that makes life to suck. And it makes me think that we are not here for ourselves, because if we were, the focus would have been liberating us actually figuring out how to have fun and enjoy our lives. It would be better if we knew nothing but we were enjoying this. I find that a lot of people are enjoying life. I don't think a lot of people are enjoying life. I think a lot of people are just they're uncertain. Like, you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do, actually. You wake up in the morning and you don't actually know what to do. And you can't really explain to another person why you do the things that you do. I do wish that in the end someone sits you down and actually explain to you what is life. Like, I think there will be something beautiful about that than people just dying, and maybe if life continues to exist even after death, they'll still be confused. Can you imagine? You die and you are still confused. It'll be like dreaming, because when you're dreaming, you're confused. So you find yourself in a reality that's confusing. And still, no one is really giving you answers. And maybe when you start like living in that reality that you find yourself in, maybe there will be some people who will seem to be on your side and who seem like they know some things, and they will tell you what they know or what they think they know. But as time goes on, you'd realize that they know nothing. It's the same with religion. If you're born in a family that believes in Islam, as a kid, you're gonna trust your parents. You're supposed to trust them. You're like, oh yeah, they know what's going on. Surely they did what I did, or what I'm doing now. Me asking questions. They've asked themselves a lot of questions and they've come up with these answers. So this is what is true. But as you get older and ask more questions, you're like, how did these people even? How did these people even like have faith in something that they were just told by people about? This reminds me of this scene from South Park. Stan met this other family. They were all Mormons, and he loved them. So the whole episode actually, was about what I'm about to tell you. So yeah, he loved them. He loved their chemistry. They seemed to be happy together as a family. He think about his family and be like, my dad, Randy Marsh. If you've watched South Park, you know how Randy is. His family is always like, they always have problems. There's no happiness. They're always fighting. They don't seem to. They don't ever catch a break. So when he met that family, he was like, oh, they're living nice. So he wanted to know what they believe in, and they explained to him what they believe in. So he wanted to become like them because he felt they were happy. He told his dad about it, and his dad got mad. And when he went to that family, he liked how they lived, so he also wanted to become a Mormon. So he actually became a Mormon. Like, they became Mormons, but they started to ask more questions about their religion. Be like, okay, so how did that guy know that what is preaching is true? Like, oh, he discovered a book, blah blah blah, and he brought it. Oh, I don't even think they say he discovered a book. Like, he would just go somewhere and then come back and be like, this is what is true. This is what God is telling me. You don't need proof. You just have to believe. And they were like, no, that's BS. So that's what happens in this room. Is like you're born here, know nothing, and then you trust those who came before you. You like they did do their research. They did think the way that a human being should think, only to find out that they have not like done any real work to try to understand what is going on. And it's scary. Now, once you realize that a lot of people who believe in something, have never actually done enough work to even believe in what they believe in. And some of them will go as far to like blame others for not believing what they believe, even though they've not really done enough work to even believe what they believe. Seems like like life itself is a setup. Like, all these things are supposed to be happening. We are all supposed to be confused. We are all supposed to not have the answers, right? Well, we're all supposed to be uncertain. I was asking myself a lot about morality today. I was like, really, man, can I even judge a person who was born here if there's nothing that is known? Like, why should a person be the way that I think is good? How do I define good? I might say good is when you love each other and this and that. And I'm right, but what if that's not their definition? What if that's not their preferred reality? What if they prefer chaos? What if they prefer breaking the rules? Like, the real problem is that life itself is wrong because it allows all these things to happen. We are put in a world where we are not the same, right? Every person is different. There are some people who are psychos. There are some, and you can see that it's a setup. That's the reason why animals have to unalive other animals in order to survive. It's a setup. You can see that that's nature, and we have all accepted that. Sometimes we do see horrible things happening to animals. Animals doing horrible things to other animals, and we feel sorry for the animals that are suffering. That will, like, if someone is recording a video of something bad happening to another animal, people will be like, why didn't you try to save it? If you see a rabbit being killed by a lion, they'll be proud of you. They'll be like, maybe I should have tried to save it. But the lion also wants to eat. So who's right? You can say, no, the rabbit is good because the rabbit doesn't want to kill. It's trying to protect itself. But the rabbit also does. Like, if the rabbit was a lion, it would be killing. Like, it would be like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to kill. Like it'll kill. So in this realm, we're supposed to be different, and of course we're not going to get along. There's going to be a value alignment problem where people don't share the same values and they don't love the same things, and that causes more and more suffering. And it gets to a point where the world becomes so chaotic, people can't learn to trust one another because of that. Like, yo, you're not interested in the same thing that I'm interested in. You have your own interest. This reminds me of this episode of South Park where people of South Park hated Walmart. They hated Walmart because it was like small. It was destroying small businesses. So they wanted to get rid of it for good. But Catman didn't want to get rid of it. But his friends wanted to get rid of it. So they will do what they need to do to get rid of it while Catman is working behind their back. And they couldn't trust him. Like they could see. So it's life. It's like we don't have the same interest. There's a person who wants to spread ignorance, who want people to be ignorant. There are people who want to be free, who want to know, and who want other people to know. So we're not interested in the same things. And whose fault is it? So you can see that life was never meant to work, at least not in ways that many of us would like it to. Now, many of us don't really like wars. Many of us don't like misunderstandings. But we're so different. It's difficult for a Muslim to understand a Christian. It's difficult for a Christian to understand a Muslim. It's difficult for a person who's not gay to understand a person who's gay. It's difficult for an atheist to understand a religious person. It's difficult for a religious person to understand an atheist. Is it? So you can see that it's all by design. It was supposed to be like that. It's not we don't misunderstand one another as people because some glitch happened. It's not a glitch. It's how it was meant to be, so that there will be suffering in the world, so that we'll produce Luch, I guess. That's why the Luch Farm theory makes sense. You could ask yourself, but how there is some like entities that are feeding off negative energy? But when you look at the amount of suffering that's going on in the world, and you ask yourself why do we live in a world where there's so much suffering, if the world without suffering was possible? Because we're not just talking about suffering because people are bored, suffering because people are trying to do something. And no, people are suffering because they were supposed to not understand one another. Animals are suffering because they're supposed to eat one another. You know what I mean? Like, it was set up that way. This is not the result of an accident. You could see how everything is working together perfectly. That something wanted things to be this way. There's a reason why you love meat. Ever ask yourself why you like the way that meat tastes? Why? Couldn't we have lived in a universe where humans didn't like the way that meat tastes? Wouldn't that be better? Can you imagine a world where humans didn't like animal products? That would mean that there would be less suffering in the world. Because animals got a short end of the stick, like when you really think about it, because they don't have rights. We just do whatever we want to do with them. You see the way pigs are being treated. Like, they don't have power. They can't say no. It's us who hold the power, so we do as we please with them. And this begs the question, if there are alien beings that are more powerful than us, will they really be wrong to be doing as they please with us? If we don't have a problem doing as we please with the animals. Because they don't have to follow the law. They don't have to believe in morality, right? Maybe they have superpowers. So why should they live by the laws of these that were created by humans if they are way more powerful than humans? So if animals had their own laws, because human beings are powerful, they wouldn't follow these laws. They wouldn't care. They would break the law. So will it mean that if there were entities that were feeding off a negative energy, like they would be wrong and we should judge them? You think they're evil, or will you just understand that that's how it is because we're also like them, but try to figure out ways to free ourselves if we can? We've thought of so many theories about our existence, and the Luch Farm theories still make a lot of sense. So when I make videos, I try to figure out what actually makes sense. I'm not coming here on YouTube to lie to people and claim that I have the answers. If a person tells you they have the answers, you must ask them how they got the answers, and you realize that no one really knows what's going on. But we do have to come up with our best guess, and we must be looking at everything, meaning there must be intellectual honesty. You mustn't be biased. You mustn't be like, I want this to be true, so I'm gonna have faith that it's true. That's being biased. So you must really want to know what is going on. You're gonna make a guess that actually makes sense, even when you explain it to people. Like, oh, this is what I think is going on. This is why I think this was going on. Like, it's gonna make sense. But yeah, it does suck that we know nothing. And it feels like the truth in this realm, we're not really supposed to know it. What if when you find out what the truth is and you got confirmation what the truth is, automatically your memories get wiped? When I was growing up, they used to tell us that if you see a ghost, you go crazy. If you go to certain places where they claim that there's some ghost or there's some entities there that are powerful, like if you see it, because you're not even supposed to talk about it, that's it, you can't. And there's been stories of people seeing something and telling other people that they're seeing something. And then from that point forward, you find out they cannot talk or they die. I remember there's a video, no, it's not a video actually. So this lady, she wrote on a status, I think, or she sent her parents messages saying that it's not real, it's all this simulation, nothing is real. And she was found dead, like immediately after sending that. You ask yourself, what did she find out? Did someone kill her and then made it look like wanted to turn it into some conspiracy? Or she really did see something and she wasn't supposed to say it. So because the Matrix didn't want her to see it, it had to get rid of her. This reminds me of this other scene from this series that I was telling you about, People of Earth. Once the people who used to get kidnapped by aliens realized they were getting kidnapped by aliens, The aliens wanted to kill them because they know too much now. So maybe there are some things we're not supposed to know, and if we know them, that's it. Maybe that's how people go crazy. Maybe they see things, and then after seeing these things, because they were not supposed to see these things, they go crazy. So that they can't say anything. And even if they do say something, we don't believe them because they're crazy. It's the same as waking up once you realize you're dreaming. Because it's strange that when you're dreaming and then you realize that you're in a dream, you wake up. Like, it's not easy to remain in the dream if you know it's a dream. I know that people who say they can lucid dream, and I've also had lucid dreams before, but it still doesn't, like, there is still a lot that you do not seem to realize at the time. So even if you know that you're dreaming, but you don't know it at the level that you would know it if you were this conscious, right? It's like, yeah, you know you're dreaming and it's fun, but not really. Like, you don't know, you know what I mean? You kind of know, but not really. Like, you don't know what it actually means that you are actually in a dream. Can you imagine if you truly became lucid in your dream? Like 100% lucid. Imagine all the stuff you would do in your dream, knowing that you're going to wake up at any time. There's not going to be consequences. Imagine. You just do what you want, you know? All the immoral things that you're afraid to do here, you do these things. All the things you're afraid to do because you're afraid to get arrested, you do all, and you know, dreams really feel real. So it will feel like you're here doing this thing. So it will be nice. I think that what will make life interesting, really. If in your dream you could do any, like, you realize that you're dreaming and you do whatever you want, knowing damn well that you're gonna wake up. You do things that you always wanted to do. It will be like playing a video game. When people playing video games, they do crazy things, right? Find out the person is playing a video game where they have a gun and they just go and shoot at strangers. You know, a person will like shoot an old person, and you'll be like, wait, so did you always wanted to shoot an old person or what? Like, what's going on? People I know what you think. Like, they're crazy. The only thing that's stopping people from being crazy is consequences. They're afraid of the consequences. So yeah, maybe dreams would be nice if you could choose when you wake up. So you just experience whatever you wanted to experience. You've never driven a car before, just get inside a car. Or, you know, if you find a car parked somewhere, you just take it and drive it. A plane, you just take it and fly it if you can. But yeah, it'll be nice because you just do whatever you want to do. You break all the rules without fear of consequences. But in this room, you know, if you do something that they say you mustn't do, it's most likely that there's going to be consequences. If you don't suffer the consequences, it's luck. I hope we knew what's going on. I think what's truly causing suffering is lack of knowledge about what's going on. Like, that is really the real problem here. You can't know what to do if you don't know what is going on. You just do what seems to work, and that's it. You know that, oh, if I drink water, if I feel thirsty, I must drink water and I'll be fine. But you still don't understand where you are. You just know what works. So I think that's the reason why people like me seek knowledge. We want to understand and see what is possible. Even if we can't get confirmation that what we think is going on is actually what's going on, but at least we will have thought as rationally as possible, without telling ourselves lies, without believing things that are making us feel good, right? Even if we make mistakes, in the end we would have tried. Like, you will know that, oh yeah, maybe I didn't figure out what was going on, but at least I was honest, at least I was strong. It's just that it's not easy to actually figure out what is going on. Thank you guys for watching until the end. Like the video, comment, tell me what you think, subscribe to the channel, share the video. Thank you.